The cameras flashed, the crowd froze, and just like that, a decade-long reality TV dynasty completely fractured. Welcome to the deep dive.
It is honestly wild how fast things can change.
It really is. You're listening to StarScope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals. From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame.
And today, we're unpacking what I can only describe as a total reality TV earthquake. We're looking at a huge stack of sources reports from Variety, People, the U.S. Sun, and even some pretty shocking quotes from Bravo executives.
Yeah, the headline-dominating entertainment feeds right now is impossible to ignore. It's everywhere. Another major star is leaving Summer House.
Right, but what we're really tracking here is how the whole, the Scamanda controversy didn't just end a few relationships. It literally forced a major network to rewrite the rules of its flagship show.
Exactly. I mean, think about how your own friend group shifts when a couple breaks up. People take sides, the group texts get weirdly quiet, dinners are they're awkward.
Oh, totally. The tension is palpable.
Right. Now imagine navigating that while being contractually obligated to share a bathroom with those exact people every single weekend.
Yeah.
If you're loving these Hollywood twists and the hidden mechanics of how these shows actually function, make sure you're subscribed, because what's happening off camera is even crazier than what aired.
It really is. So let's unpack this. The catalyst for all of this chaos is Amanda Batula. She has been, the emotional anchor of Summer House since season 1 back in 2016, and she is reportedly out for season 11.
Out completely. And her new boyfriend, Wes Wilson, is out with her, which is just a massive shakeup.
To understand why a network would let a foundational cast member just walk away, we have to look at the anatomy of the scandal itself. The internet dubbed this Scamanda, which is obviously echoing the Vanderpump Rules Scandival phenomenon.
Right. The network was basically praying lightning would strike twice, economically speaking.
Exactly. So let's look at the timeline. In January of 2026, Amanda and her husband of 4 years, Kyle Cook, announced their split. Now, a divorce is standard reality TV fodder, right? People deal with it on camera.
Yeah. It's messy, but it's manageable for producers.
But then, by March 2026, Amanda and Wes Wilson, who had just joined the cast the previous season, remember, they confirmed they were dating with a joint Instagram post.
Which introduces just like an unprecedented breach of cast trust. Because it's not just that she moved on, it's the specific geometry of this love triangle.
Oh, the geometry's completely messed up.
Yeah, because West had previously dated Amanda's former best friend and castmate, Ciara Miller. This was back in 2023. So you aren't just dealing with a divorce. You're dealing with a clandestine romance that fundamentally betrays the core female friendship of the entire house.
And the secrecy is really what made it so explosive. I mean, there's a very telling quote from Wes on the Broadcast Boys podcast. He explicitly admitted that he and Amanda had been, quote, making out and having sleepovers for a long time before going public.
Making out and having sleepovers.
Mm-hmm.
While filming a show about their transparent lives.
It's wild. I was thinking about the actual physical layout of that house, right? The dynamic is essentially a jammed escape room.
I love that visual, a jammed escape room.
Right. You can't just walk away from the people you've betrayed. You're stuck inside.
Well, it's actually worse than a jammed escape room. It's an escape room where the only way to get the key to leave is to actively collaborate with the person who locked you in.
Wow. Yeah, that's spot on.
You have what I like to call the Bravo golden handcuffs. Contractually, these cast members can't just ice each other out or give each other the silent treatment. They're being paid highly lucrative salaries to interact, to discuss their trauma, and, to generate conflict.
And normally networks love that. They thrive on the forced interaction. But something clearly broke here. I was reading a quote from Bravo executive Noah Samton, and it feels like a rare moment of the curtain being pulled back.
Yeah, he was surprisingly candid. Very candid. Sam Baston pointed out the structural difference between Summer House and The Real Housewives. He said that two housewives who absolutely hate each other can shoot a tense lunch scene, and then they can just go home to their own separate gated mansions.
Right, they have an escape route.
Exactly. But Summer House is fundamentally different. Sam Hansen stated, and this is a direct quote, "If people have a real issue with each other, you can't live together in a house. And we wouldn't do that to the cast."
Which is just a remarkable concession from a network executive whose entire business model relies on monetizing interpersonal conflict,
Yeah.
He's acknowledging the ethical and logistical limit of their own format. When the toxicity hits a certain point, the liability just outweighs the entertainment value.
And you could physically see that limit being tested during the season 10 reunion. The environment was so suffocatingly toxic that West and Amanda just completely shut down.
Yeah, they froze. They couldn't even articulate their own defense.
Right. The network realized the narrative was completely unresolved, which is why they were forced to scramble and air that unprecedented bonus episode, Summer House. The aftermath.
And that aftermath episode only proved Sam Watson's point, honestly. The environment was entirely broken, and Wes seemed to understand this economic reality better than anyone. On that same podcast, he called his exit the, quote, obvious solution.
The obvious solution.
Yeah. He noted, I don't think it would have been a fun summer. And he explicitly referred to his departure as taking a hit to the penalty box.
Taking a hit to the penalty box.
Whoa.
But listen, nature abhors a vacuum. With Amanda gone and Kyle stepping back, someone has to take the crown. And later in the episode, we'll talk about the shocking new city where this entire drama is relocating, because that is a massive twist.
Oh, it completely changes everything.
It does. But first, let's talk about this vacuum. If you remove the two central antagonists from the house, you don't just get peace. You create a massive power shift. And Bravo's strategy for filling that vacuum reveals exactly what they think audiences value most right now.
Yeah, the producers are reportedly betting it all on Ciara Miller.
Betting the entire future of the franchise on her. An insider told the U.S. Sun that Bravo views Ciara as the future of the franchise. They are basically writing her a blank check.
The aggrieved party is being elevated to the absolute center of the narrative. It's fascinating.
The insider quote is just staggering to me. They said, quote, "What Ciara wants, she will get. They will basically pay up or do whatever it takes."
That is immense power for a reality TV star.
Right. I have a question about this, though. When a network physically restructures a show around one person, specifically because of a real-life betrayal, doesn't it change the DNA of the show entirely? Like, what happens when she holds all the cards?
That is the multi-million-dollar question for season 11. You are entirely correct that it alters the DNA. Historically, Summer House has operated as this egalitarian ensemble comedy. It was about a collective of friends escaping the city to just, blow off steam.
Yeah, it was light. It was chaotic alchemy.
Exactly. By centering Ciara and implementing these rigid, heavily negotiated filming boundaries, the genre shifts. It's no longer an escapist party show. It becomes a serialized drama about loyalty, consequence, and trauma management.
Which means the stakes for every single conversation in that house are suddenly like life or death, rather than just who drank my alcohol.
Precisely. The gravity of the show has fundamentally changed, and you can already see the psychological toll it's taking on the returning cast. Just look at Mia Calabrese.
Oh, her interview is so revealing.
Right. She spoke to People magazine recently about the anxiety of returning to the Hamptons. She explicitly acknowledged that the Scamanda fallout was, quote, hard, difficult for everyone, especially Ciara.
Yeah. Mia also pointed out that she herself is coming off a recent breakup, and that the prospect of living in that house again is incredibly nerve-wracking. She said she's just looking to trust her gut and her intuition this summer.
That doesn't sound like someone packing for a fun summer vacation. That sounds like someone mentally preparing for a deployment. The entire ecosystem of the house has shifted.
It really has.
Yeah.
Even Kyle Cook, who has basically been the chaotic nucleus of this show for a decade, is having to adapt. He went on Instagram to deny rumors that he was quitting entirely, but sources confirmed he is drastically scaling back his involvement.
Which is honestly a logistical necessity at this point. Kyle's alcohol brand, Loverboy, has historically functioned as practically a cast member itself. It sponsored their parties. It was the source of half their arguments.
True. Loverboy was everywhere.
But with his marriage dissolving on camera, continuing to play the role of the carefree weekend party boy would severely damage both his personal brand and his corporate brand.
So we have Amanda gone, West completely out, Kyle pulling back to focus on his beverage company, and Ciara holding the reins. The remaining mainstays, like Lindsay Hubbard, Carl Radke, and Jesse Solomon, they're just left to figure out this new world order.
And the U.S. Sun promised it will be a fresh start with an entirely new feeling. But frankly, it sounds incredibly heavy.
It is heavy, and that's what makes this next part so insane. And that's not even the wildest part, by the way. Bravo isn't just letting this tension fizzle out in the Hamptons. They are picking up the cameras and migrating the drama.
The chessboard is completely moving.
Yes. The Hamptons may be fracturing, but the cameras never stopped rolling. They picked right back up in Manhattan for a brand new Bravo spinoff, debuting May 19th. It's called In the City.
This is where we see the sheer industrial scale of reality television production. They built an entirely new ecosystem in Manhattan just to house the fallout of the Hamptons.
And the cast list is massive. Amanda, Kyle, and Lindsay Hubbard are all moving to this spinoff as full-time cast members,
Right, and they're bringing back alumni like Danielle Oliveira and Andrea Denver, too.
which is just deeply ironic. I mean, the network publicly admits these people cannot emotionally survive living together in a beach house on the weekends, but their solution is to have them navigate the concrete jungle of New York City together full-time.
Well, because the geography dictates the stakes, right? In the Hamptons, the conflict was always framed around leisure. Who ruined the pool party? Who invited the wrong person to the beach? In the city, the conflict is framed around survival and adulthood.
Exactly. And the fresh faces they are bringing in the city prove this. They are bringing real-world stakes to the drama. Like, let's talk about Katie Arundel.
Ah, yes. Amanda's childhood best friend.
Right. She's being introduced as the ultimate ride or die. She's expected to challenge Kyle in a way only a ride or die could, and she is supposedly going to immediately clash with Danielle.
Which is going to be explosive.
Mhm.
And speaking of Danielle, she is in this fast-paced, live-in romance with tech startup guru Aeon Heavy.
Oh, wow. A tech guru. That's a very different vibe.
Totally. And then you have Andrea Denver and his new wife, Lexi Sundin, who just got married in Verona, Italy, by the way. They are already clashing on camera over where to live.
Real adult problems. And it gets heavier. Look at Yvonne Azure and her husband, Nick Barber. Yvonne is Lindsay's best friend, and they are dealing with Yvonne's recent layoff. Plus, they're having this huge debate over whether it's the right time to have children.
That detail alone completely shatters the original premise of this franchise. You can't out-party a layoff.
You really can't. They are leaning heavily on Lindsay for support. And then you also have Georgina Fursley, a single mom dermatologist, who is also leaning on Lindsay as she launches a skincare line.
It completely shifts Lindsay's role from being the center of romantic drama to this anchor of real-life adult crisis management. And it creates a profound sense of relatability for the audience. We're watching the economic anxieties of the current job market play out through the lens of reality television.
Right, the network understands that the fans who watched these people party back in 2016 are now dealing with their own layoffs, their own marriages, their own real-world struggles. Which brings me to the Loverboy connection on the new show, Kenny Martin.
This storyline is going to be incredibly moving.
Yeah, Kenny's an investor in Kyle's brand. But his narrative on the show has nothing to do with selling drinks. He is actively grieving the recent loss of his mother.
When you introduce the grief of losing a parent into a reality television narrative, you completely neutralize the petty drama.
It demands respect.
Exactly. It forces the rest of the cast to interact with that person with a level of profound authenticity. You cannot manufacture a storyline around grief. It fundamentally alters the pacing and the emotional depth of the episodes.
And to make his life even more complicated, Kenny is dealing with mismatched timelines with his girlfriend, former Bachelor star Whitney Franzway. Plus, he's got this push and pull with his buddy Gavin Mosley, who's described as the quintessential NYC bachelor.
Gavin is definitely threatening to disrupt Kenny's serious outlook on love.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But when you step back and look at all these threads, Amanda and Kyle navigating a divorce, Yvonne dealing with unemployment, Kenny processing his mother's passing, you realize why In the City matters.
Right. It represents an evolution of reality TV. It trades the isolated, party-centric bubble of the Hamptons for the messy, unavoidable realities of adulthood. Shifting loyalties, grief, divorce. Bravo recognized the sunk cost fallacy here.
They couldn't just throw away a decade of marketing.
Exactly. They have invested a decade of airtime and narrative development into Kyle, Amanda, and Lindsay. The audience has this deeply ingrained parasocial relationship with them, but the audience also has an excellent nonsense detector.
Yep, they know when it's fake.
If you put a 40-year-old man who is going through a devastating divorce into a neon swimsuit and tell him to chug a beer for the camera, it stops being entertaining. It becomes depressing.
It becomes incredibly dark, honestly.
So to protect their investment, the network had to remove the artificial construct of the summer house. They transitioned the genre from an escapist comedy to an urban drama.
They basically took them out of the escape room and dropped them into the real world. Think about your own friend groups. Have you ever had a dynamic completely shatter because of one unexpected romance? You don't get to pause your career stress because a friend is going through a breakup. Everything happens all at once.
It's all connected.
It is. The evolution of this cast proves that sometimes the only way to fix a broken dynamic isn't to force people back into the same house. It's to change the environment entirely.
It's a sobering realization for reality TV as a whole.
It really is. Listen, if you loved untangling this web with us, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our next deep dive into the stories shaping pop culture. We got even crazier stories ahead.
We do. And I think we have to leave the listener with this final lingering thought. We watch these shows to see people escape their daily lives in a summer house. But when they literally pack up their drama and move it into the city, into their real everyday lives, are we still watching an escape? Or are we just watching the inescapable reality that you can never truly run away from the messes you make?
That is a wild thought to end on. You've been listening to StarScope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.